Well, this is a fantastic spot for a camp out. It's a bit tough to get up here though. The birds haven't found my seeds yet. I'm hoping they'll find that later today, so I'll have a bit of company out here. It's turned into quite a beautiful day. It is very tempting to stay inside and enjoy the warm interior while reading as well. So I'll show you what that looks like. See if the camera adjusts to it here. Looks like it is okay. It's nice to have the extra window in the door. That is just because I needed to insert some extra space in here because this wouldn't close under pressure. The guys added some lines up top for the last camping trip, I guess. That's cool. We have the little wood stove that Landon got. The cot is very nice to have. It has storage on the side, which is really nice to have. Little buddy heater is a backup. My wife made sure I have a carbon monoxide detector as well with a digital readout. So far it hasn't made any sounds. Large collection of firewood for tonight and a little light system. I hadn't installed these on my vehicle yet, so I thought I would bring them. Hauled in a battery. It doubled as weight for the grooming sled as well for the cross-country skis. Had to make my own little gasket. I forget what they call these for the vent to go out. So there is a metal piece right here that's velcroed to the little flap that each one of these have. So this just has the plastic and also the flap material with the velcro. So the windows are removable, which is very nice. I had to stitch those on so at least it can open and close nicely. There is a second door on this side here, but I don't use that because it has the same problem as the other door. There is venting, which is nice. I also have a little extra space down here that isn't quite sealed perfectly, so it's a little bit of extra venting, which is good. It doesn't have a problem getting nice and warm in here, considering the size of the stove for how small this is. Good reading material is important. I have this book called Alone Against the North. It was recommended from the Explorer magazine, so I ordered that as well as one other of his books that I hope to read. The last time I was here, my kids came with me, and you can't really tell, but they made some nice little slides down here. Kids will always find the fun. If they think it's boring, they'll invent something. It's a little bit steep here. So this is the path that leads to the little cabin. Well, it's actually a nice sized cabin. It's well on its way. 6 rounds up. Should be even more fun camping here when the cabin's done. Later I'll show you the pull behind groomer that I have for behind the snowmobile. I'm trying it out for the first time this trip to do a little bit of skiing. So here's the cabin. So far. Doesn't look like much yet, I guess. But those of you that have built log cabins before know that there's a fair bit of work that goes into this already by this stage. Definitely some rabbit activity in the area. This spot for sure. So this is what the notches look like at the bottom. There are two different styles that we've been using. Now, of course, these logs here are peeled, and this portion hasn't been. Antlers are ready to go. They're gonna go right about here once the roof is on. There'll be a little front deck of sorts. And then the other time when my kids were here, we spent about 10 minutes or so doing a little bit of chinking. What a beautiful spot. Nice warm day today. Well, warm, relatively warm. It's only like -8 or 10, something like that, Celsius. I just dropped my camera in the snow, but hopefully the lens is clear enough for you to see. I've collected, in just a few minutes here, about 5 minutes or so, I've collected quite a pile of moss on the left there. I found that if you scoop underneath it, even just with your gloves, you can get quite a roll going, like this here. And it stays together quite well, kind of like rug. So I'm thinking that it could work quite well as a roof material over top of tar paper or something. I guess we'll have to see what happens. So unfortunately the sun has now disappeared behind some clouds, at least for the time being. Some blue sky still, so it should come back out. But I'm going to head out and go for a little ski on the lake, try out the new trail. I'm looking forward to that. So here's what the bottom of the cross-country ski groomer looks like. I lined it with some sort of puckboard plastic, screwed that on, tried not to make the screw heads go all the way through, and then I had these things made to copy what I've seen on professional versions, but they got all wrecked on the way here with the rocks on some of the trails and that. And this is oak on the bottom and fir here as well, so it's nice and strong. So far it hasn't broken apart. So this is my first time trying out this new groomer, and it seems like it's pretty good. I groomed it a few hours ago, so it's had a little bit of time to set. So this is my first time camping alone in winter in the wilderness for a few days, and it's awesome. It takes a little bit of an adjustment for doing things by yourself. There are definitely some advantages. You can do things the way you want. You're on your own time schedule, but you also have no help if things get a bit tough. You're on your own to figure it out. It's amazing how a few minds put together seem to work so much better at times. I had to find something that was heavy to put in the groomer earlier because I took the battery out. So I found some spots like that where probably a spruce or a jack pine has fallen down. Got some rocks from underneath it. I couldn't figure out how I would find some loose stones right on the ice here. It's amazing how different this environment is in winter versus summer. The last few years I've actually dreaded the end of winter. which is nothing I've done in the past. I've come to really appreciate winter and the changes that the seasons bring. Yesterday I was thinking I might just stay one night because I forgot my saw. I said earlier that plans changed. I was going to stay in a different spot, and I knew that spot had wood supply and saw and different things, so I didn't quite prepare like I normally would. Always have to be prepared for everything. Backup plan, just like Adam Schultz says in his book Alone Against the North. He always has contingency plans. Things don't go the way that they're supposed to very often, especially with the extreme trips he's doing. I can't imagine wanting to do a trip like he does, but he has the explorer nature, that's for sure. You just have to love winter. Every mark tells a story. Love to know more. Where'd the little guy go? Be a nice little house. As a kid, I used to imagine being tiny, being able to get into all the little places that these animals do. The little tracks. All about survival. Well, something rather interesting happened in this very spot a month or two ago. We were camped out here. I had my small tent right here with a tarp over top of it, a buddy heater going in there. It was nice and toasty warm until the second night when my heater didn't work, so I joined the others. But they were in a tent right around here, a nice big ice fishing tent, and they had the deluxe setup until early in the morning when I heard yelling. I had earplugs in, so I could barely hear it, but I did hear my friend yelling, and he said, "We're having a bit of a crisis." And he said the tent blew away. They had not staked the tent down, and a wind came up. It's fairly open here. We are close to the shore, but not close enough, obviously. Big wind, a gust of wind came up, and the tent went catapulting, rolling down towards the middle of the lake. My friend got out as quickly as he could in his socks. Didn't get dressed, just ran out after it. Well, they dragged it all the way back into the bay over there, and it was still set up. It's one of those quick pitch tents, but that was definitely an adventure. It was a good thing it wasn't minus 20 or 30. I think it was about minus 15 or so that night, or 20. So cold enough, that's for sure.